Time for an update. So, check this out. As you can see by the crossed wires, I put the motor on upside down. I got so excited that I finally figured out how I was going to mount this thing that I didn't look at my mark and I put it on upside down. But let's check it out. This is the Johnson 6-pole that I used in the brass locomotives. Now, the last time we did this was a Barney Yard diesel, and we used that Mabuchi face ripper in it, which worked pretty good. But I want something that's got, for this one, it's better to have a lot more low end. So, let's give it a try. %. That's 14% power right there. Now these things are loud, but it's actually sounding pretty good. Those big Bakelite gears tend to be very loud. The other thing is there's two metal worms and there's plastic gears on the axles. It also makes it loud. I took up some of the slack in the axle here. It had slack where this thing would move in and out, and I put a thrust washer on the back bearing, and that seems to have cleared it up. That's 29% power. See how it made it through the spaghetti bowl of tracks? It's only picking up from two axles by itself. The front truck also picks up power. Look at that. All those number 4 snap switches, old Atlas brass. It's 40% right there. So this thing can really move out if you have to. It's too bad those 6-pole motors do not come with dual shaft, because they would be really, really good for a lot of stuff. Sounding pretty good. All right. So we're in really good shape on that. Now, while I was doing a little bit of looking around in inventory, I forgot that I got something at the train show. When I got this one, I also forgot that I got this from some guy. Yep, guess what we got now? I was planning on doing this at the same time, but then I put it on the shelf and I forgot about it. So, now instead of 6 units, we have a powered 7th, and I'm not sure, what is this thing? I can't see what that says. What does that say on there? Made in Japan. I thought this was going to be, well, it looks like it sort of looks like it's almost an Athearn type drive in here, but these metal, I don't know what this is. We're going to have to open this up, and we'll find out what it is. But it also came with a bead. Check the metal frame on this. Interesting. And apparently they did, I don't know, they stripped the paint off it or something. Definitely is unpainted. And we'll have to wash that up and see if it makes any difference. And then I don't know what we'll do with the B, because it has the capability of having powered trucks, power something. Maybe lights, maybe, you know, sound decoder. It came with a window kit too. This is cool. We'll get into this. We'll figure out what that is. And, oh, that's great. Then we'll have another example. Okay, now I got to show you something else. All right, let's go back over here again. We're going to have to go this way. Okay. Let's get down here. Okay, so this is the Midway Terminal right here, these first 6 tracks. Behind the Midway Terminal, since this is an industrial park, my entire layout is an industrial park, there's no real main line. But there are 2 tracks here that essentially go to the other spots on the layout. 7 large industries. Then, where the locomotives are stored right now, once upon a time, that was an icing yard. So it had an ice track and stuff. So we just refer to it as the old ice yard, or old ice. That's what we call it. Behind that is a very large industry, which stretches from the corner all the way along here, all the way down there to where it goes through where the wall was. And it has for itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 tracks and can hold a ton of cars. I think I've counted it before. It's something like 40 or 50. And it's got its own set of bridges that go into 2 other industries over there. And we'll get into it. I got this little, kind of almost like a GoPro camera. And it's small enough I can put it on a flat car, and it's 4K. And maybe we'll take a ride around the layout pretty soon. But, now, back to what I wanted to show you. Alright, let's take this guy off. Let's put that one there. And that one there. Now let's get it where you can see what's happening. We're going to do, so here's the model power that has the 280 motor. Here's that clutch, the Hobbyline with the clutch that has the face ripper. Let's go ahead and give track 3 power. Alright. Let's see what happens if we run them side by side. There they go. Let's bring them back. 5% power. Can you believe that? For those 2 guys. Now they don't really match in speed, because the thing about the one with the clutch, that clutch starts building up and it tends to give it a little advantage. Now, let's go ahead and give power to track 5. Okay. %20 power. That's like 3 volts. We get 50% power and the big guys take off. See at track 6. We're still, that was 65% power. And that one with the clutch keeps getting ahead. Okay. Let's bring these two guys back. See, the thing is, if we give it some power right away, the 280, the model power, will take off. But the Hobbytown with the clutch will catch up and pass it. So did you see that? Here, let's try that again. Okay. Give her some power. Let's watch them. Thing is that okay. The Hobbytown one always builds up speed and starts going faster and faster because of that clutch. Pretty neat, huh? Alright, now I got to get back to it. I get pretty excited. Wait till you see the underframe that we've made. It's starting to really look good. That's coming up next.